Hello! Read it here. Today we're going to read a story from our /Entitle Parents. Now, for our first story, You're My Child. I have the right to poison you. I'm allergic to fish/seafood. It's not the anaphylactic type of allergy, thank goodness, so I'm not going to die if I eat some, but I do throw up, have a stomach ache, and a massive headache for a few hours. Enough fish/seafood, and I break out in small red hives over my arms. My mother didn't believe it, and as a child, I couldn't stand up to her properly. She'd force me to eat stuff with seafood or fish in it to prove I wasn't allergic, then ignore me as I was sick. One day, she held a dinner party. I was dressed up beautifully and trotted out to parade before the guests. At the time, I was around about 9, precocious for my age, and absolutely fed up with my mother making me sick. When she held out a fish cutlet, fish cooked with vegetables, rolled into a ball, covered in batter and fried, for me to eat, I saw my chance. Me loudly. I can't eat that. I'm allergic to fish. Mother, no, you're not. Eat it. Me. I am allergic. I'll throw up. No Asian mother will back down in front of guests for fear of looking like she can't discipline her child. My mother grabbed the fish cutlet, shoved it to my mouth, and said in her most firm voice of command, "Eat." So I ate it. Cut to about 10 minutes later. I go up to my mother and tug on her sari to get attention. Me, I don't feel well. Barf. I vomited on her, on the expensive carpet, and in full view of all the guests. My mother has a reputation for being a kind, generous, charitable, and very religious woman. So in front of all the guests, she couldn't do anything except act sympathetic and send me off to bed to recover. She never made me eat fish or seafood again. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. She got what was coming to her. I don't understand why people can't wrap their head around others having allergies. Comment 2. My mom forgets and refuses to accept that I have a fruit allergy every time I'm visiting. Every time. Even my mother-in-law makes exceptions for me by not mixing fruit into food and leaving it in a bowl for others to mix themselves. Comment 3. Mine was the same. I grew up eating peaches, apples, pears, and cherries, but now my mouth, throat, and inner ears get itchy for hours if I eat them. I tried telling her so many times when I was a teenager, but she wouldn't believe it because I was able to eat them as a kid and would always force me to eat a mixed fruit bowl with those fruits every Sunday. Only recently, I finally found out that I likely have oral allergy syndrome, which usually appears later in life and is an allergy to certain fruits due to pollen allergies. Apparently, I can eat the fruits cooked since that destroys the pollen proteins in them, but not raw. I was able to send her a link to an article about it, and since she knew I had bad pollen allergies growing up, I think she has finally accepted it. Comment 4. They see allergies as a defect or fault in the child, and since they're such a great parent/person years, no way their kid could be defective in any way. Now, for our second story. Entitled Mother, EM, brings along her kid to work unannounced. Background. My company sets up a booth at a carnival, and we engaged several part-timers to assist at the carnival. The part-timers are required to go around the carnival ground to distribute flyers, share information, and direct visitors to our booth. The story. On the day of the carnival, after setting up, I met up with the part-timers to prepare them for the day. Out of all the part-timers, only EM was late. She mentioned she will be 15 minutes late, but it was closer to an hour. As we couldn't wait, I briefed the others and deployed them for the day. When EM arrived, she had her kid in tow, 5 to 6 years old. Due to job nature, we can't have her lugging her kid while working. EM knew this. My husband couldn't handle kid, so I had to bring her along. Me? I can't have you working with your kid. It's not my problem. If you don't like it, get someone to watch over him. My colleague C, who was watching this unfold, offered to watch over her kid. He was only required to help out during the start and end of the carnival, so was entirely free during the event. I thought, alright, since he was free, C, I can watch over her, get her some food, watch some shows, play some games. But you'll need to pay me. Va te ver. But I'm not paying you for your time. Only for kid. C, grinning sure. I was flabbergasted. C told me not to worry. He had a plan. Once EM started working, C brought EM's kids systematically through every single booth throughout the entire carnival. It was the kid's dream come through, and I believe her best day ever. Whatever she wanted to eat, C bought. She saw a lot of the shows and won many prizes. Since C had an staff pass, he didn't need to pay for the shows, only for the kid. At the end of the carnival, when we were clocking the hours worked, EM had the nerve to insist to be paid full even though she was late for almost 1 hour. She said that because of various reasons, mainly due to her kid, she would have been early. She was ranting and I didn't really pay any attention as I was tired and I don't decide on the pay, but it was about how I will never understand as I don't have kids and how she deserves it because she was a mother. My manager nearby winked at me and took over. He said he was very pleased with the day's sales and how we are very supportive of her and we should give kids the best. He told not to worry about the hours she worked and EM will be paid in full. After hearing this, not even a single thanks from EM, she declared in a loud voice, "At least someone understands." She had this condescending and victorious look on her face. Thankfully, it didn't last long. The sucker punch for EM was that EM's kid spent roughly $100, and with EM's pay at $15 per hour for 8 hours equals $120, she made a whooping $20 for the whole day. She made it a point to keep track of the expenses, receipts, tickets, stubs, etc., and took tons of photos. Of course, EM threw a fit, but with the amount of evidence and her daughter vouching for all the fun she had, EM had no case except to yell, "I'm not paying for this," grabbed her daughter, and stormed off. We look forward on payday when we issue her a check of $20 after subtracting the amount her daughter spent. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Kids sounded like they had the best day. Comment 2. The kid will probably develop some form of anxiety/guilt complex with a mom like that. Guaranteed that mom yelled at her kid the whole way home and gave her crap for it. I know so many otherwise reasonable people that have that good things are happening, so something bad is going to happen soon mentality. This is a good malicious compliance/pro-revenge/entitled parent post, but also pretty sad/dark for the kid. Comment 3. This is such a beautiful way to wipe that smirk off her face. Plus the kiddo had fun, and we'll probably keep talking about that day to her EM over and over again. Sweet, sweet revenge. Comment 4. I really hope she doesn't take it out on her daughter, though. It's great that she got a wonderful and fun-filled day, but it's all for nothing if she gets treated like dirt from her mother, just to put that entitled bitch on her place. Now, for our third story. Entitled family arrives late to restaurant, demands Wi-Fi, and insults my great-grandparent. They end up paying 20 times the price of the menu. Good morning, Reddit. Just allow me a few disclaimers before I start. First, have in mind that this story takes place in the north of Spain, Asturias. Therefore, I will try to give the necessary context so the cultural barrier is as little as possible. Second, that this is my first post in this community. Third, I'm Spanish, so please forgive me for any orthographical edit. It's orthographic/facepalm or grammatical mistakes. However, feel free to point them out to me if you want. This got longer than I expected. I'm missing an XXXL tag, smiley face. Now let's get started. First of all, I will give out some context, so feel free to skip this and go directly to the story. This took place a couple of years ago when I was 17 and I used to spend part of my summers helping in my grandpa's restaurant. The restaurant was located in the bottom floor of our family house in a little village, 30 inhabitants, and my great-grandparents, the parents of my mom's mom, lived in the upper floor. In the restaurant, my great-grandmother and my grandma were in charge of cooking, and my great-grandparent and granddad were in charge of attending the tables. It was kind of small as it had like 8 tables of 4 on the inside, and we could set another 2 outside if the weather was good. As the restaurant also served as a bar, it was filled with locals, and as many of them were retired, they used to spend the whole day playing cards and drinking beer/wine. So although it was a small location in summer, usually was full of people. Also, please have in mind that my great-grandparents founded this restaurant in the year 1941, therefore, it was well known and had a good reputation among the locals. I'm also proud to say that my great-grandparents were very loved in their community, as they really were great people. Although it was a quite remote place, in summer we used to get like 4 or 5 groups of tourists per week, and the rule was that my brother and I were in charge of serving their tables as we were the only ones who knew any other language than Spanish. Our opening hours at the time were from 12 to 22:30, but the kitchen was only open from 13 to 1500 hours and from 1930 to 2100 hours. We only served one menu, composed by a starter, two main dishes, dessert and cider or water, 10 euros. So now the story. For convenience, I will use the following abbreviations. M. Entitled Mother Yef. Entitled Father SK. Spoiled Kid, 7 years old, GGP, Great-Grandparent ME. It was around 1600 hours, therefore. Most of the customers had finished eating and were chatting over a cup of coffee or some liquor. My grandparents and great-grandparents were still eating as they waited until everyone was finished. Therefore, my brother and I were in charge of serving the tables, just in case anyone wanted something else to drink. Suddenly, we hear a car outside, and I can hear a woman loudly speaking in English. As soon as they enter, this happens. EM, we would like to have a table. X from the Y Hotel told us this was a great place to eat. M, I'm sorry, ma'am, but the kitchen is already closed as it's kind of late. EM, yes, it's late because we got lost in this damn Ned roads. Is it so difficult to put proper signals? Also, we have a little kid that is hungry. M, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me check if I could do something for you. I then went inside and explained the situation to my grandma, who told me to attend them as everything was already prepared and it would be just heating the food. EM, well, are you going to give us a table or not? If the kitchen is closed, how is it that those people are eating? Pointing at my grandpa's. At the moment, I thought she was behaving like that because she was kind of hungry and I wasn't really used to dealing with rude people, as the majority of tourists used to be really respectful. Well, those are the owners, so they can eat whenever they want. I said this while laughing a bit. Anyway, I just asked them, and you'll be able to eat too. So please follow me to your table. They follow me to the table, and I explain to them that there is only one menu. They give me a strange look, but they seem okay with that. I serve them the bread, and I put a bottle of water on the table. They start devouring the bread, so they were a bit rude cause they were hungry theory seemed to be confirmed. As soon as I bring the starter, Yef demands to have the Wi-Fi password. Yef, hey, we have seen that there is a Wi-Fi network, which is the password. Yes, there is one. However, the Wi-Fi is for the staff personal use. We had a measured and really slow connection that had like 5 gigabits of data, which my grandpa used for checking some newspapers, and my brother and I used for sending WhatsApps to our friends. Yef, that's bullshit. We are paying customers, and we deserve to have access to your Wi-Fi. Yes, our little angel wants to watch some videos. We don't have any kind of internet access here. Sorry, but as I have said, it's for personal use. That's not right. This would be unacceptable in America. Well, I'm sorry to inform you that we are not in America. The EM tells something to the SK, and then he starts running around the restaurant, stomping his feet and shouting. My great-grandparent comes to me and asks me what is happening. I explain the whole situation to him, and he asked me to please translate what he is going to say. Gigi, please lady control your child, or I will have to ask you 3 to leave. Don't you dare tell me how to raise my child, you dinosaur. Yef, don't get close to my child, you old creep. By this point, everyone is of course looking with disbelief to these morons. I doubt for a sec, but translate all of this to Gigi, expecting a not really nice reaction. Instead of saying anything, he slowly turns around and asks 2 men who were sitting on a table to take the whole family out of his restaurant. I proceed to explain to the family that if they don't get out, those 2 men, who also happen to be 2 Guardia Civils, like rural police forces, would be taking them out. They don't seem to believe that those 2 men were policemen, and they refused to leave until we served them. Finally, both men stood up, showed their plaques, and asked them, in their best English, to leave. Yef and SK finally stand up and leave. However, as they were leaving, the policemen realized that they had parked in front of our garage, blocking it, in a zone signaled as a no parking zone. So they decided to ask for their rental car papers while taking a couple of photos and giving them a €200 fine for blocking a private property garage. Okay, this ended up being far longer than I expected. On my behalf, I have to say that I have family in the USA, and that all Americans I have met in the USA are really nice people. So please don't take this as an American bashing post. I hope you all have a good day. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Okay, I'm American, and Emma just say to this family that we don't just give away private Wi-Fi like candy. Demanding for staff Wi-Fi is extremely rude, and I don't know how anyone has the nerve to do so. Okay, that's all I had to say. That was a nice story. Comment 2. The kids around my house and adults are all related to me, but never speak to me or my kids. They will sit at the end of my driveway or in the driveway next to my house and log on to my Wi-Fi. I finally got tired of it and figured since they aren't paying for the shit and do not speak to me, every single OE of them can get fucked. I changed the names of my Wi-Fi to "This shit ain't free," and the admin Wi-Fi is now called "Go fuck yourself." Both have passwords. I had some pissed off relatives for a while, and a few even asked me for my password. I mean, these fucks would sit in my yard by a damn tree with their phones and just use my Wi-Fi. Pieces of shit. Update: I just got a damn text message from one of my relatives, one that I associate with, asking for my password for a relative that I do not talk to. She asked me if I changed it to "Go fuck yourself" and "This shit ain't free." Why, yes I did, and as the name suggests, they can go fuck themselves. I didn't give my password, and my relative thought it was funny. Comment 3. I like network names like FBI surveillance van. I used that one once in an apartment complex I used to live in, and some of my neighbors seem to get really worried about that one. LOL. I have changed it up and made it look more official before with names like DASURV 455-43957. I just hit the keypad for a random set of numbers. But you get the idea. It is a great way to make the druggies and criminals sweat. Comment 4. Yeah, I suspect they thought they could get away with it by claiming that's the norm back home. Most places don't allow customers to use staff Wi-Fi. And while it's super common for places to have Wi-Fi for customers, it's not exactly universal. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more.